What's up guys, it's Matt from the Crypto Coffee channel, and in this video I'm going to be giving some critical new PulseChain updates, and I'm going to be talking about the ideal strategy for you to get involved in HEX and PulseChain to get the most bang for your buck and basically just make you the most money. Now these are just my thoughts and I'm not a financial advisor, but this is what I believe is going to be the ideal strategy for myself going forward. And I'll go over a couple of other situations because everybody's financial situation is different, and it's really critical to realize that it's not a one-size-fits-all approach to this upcoming PulseChain launch. Everyone's super excited about it. There's so much opportunity on the table, both in the HEX world and the Pulse world. Both of these coins have massive upside potential, so how do you take advantage of that? And make sure you stick around to the end because I'm going to tell you a really quick and easy 5 things you can do to help pump your own bag in terms of the price of both HEX and PulseChain. Okay, 5 super easy things. Stick around till the end because it's so easy. It'll take you less than 2 minutes. Anyway, here on the chart, obviously HEX has had a massive run up in the past 2 years, and it's normal to see a little bit of a pullback, especially after the massive run that HEX has been having. So, dips are often the best time to buy, especially in these long-term coins, and it's proven that way to be true in HEX over and over and over again. See my last videos, but that's not what we're here to talk about. But we're here to move on to PulseChain updates, right? That's what everybody wants to know. What is going on in the PulseChain ecosystem? Well, if you want to see for yourself, you can go to gitlab.com/pulsechaincom, that's PulseChain.com, and you can go see the active development and the code being put up every single day, and every week there's new commits being made to the code. But I want to point out one cool thing in particular that I don't know if a lot of people are talking about yet. If we see what's been recently merged, we can see that, look over here guys, look over right here, about 5 days ago, this really important update was just merged into the master branch of PulseChain. It's called Sacrifice Credit Allocations. What do you think that means, guys? It means they're getting ready to insert the file that contains the sacrifice lists of everybody that sacrificed for PulseChain during the sacrifice phase. So sooner rather than later, I believe that this tells you you'll be able to see exactly how much PLS you may be entitled to upon the PulseChain launch based on how much you sacrificed. So this is a big update, guys, and right now there's only a dummy file in there. But this tells me that they're really gearing up and finalizing the stats on how many people sacrificed what coin at what price and how many credits they should be able to have when PulseChain launches. So it's really cool stuff, and it gets me excited that the launch is right around the corner. So this is a big update. We also know that testnet V2 is currently in production and it's being pushed out right now as we speak. So the testnet is progressing every day and V2 is taking out a lot of the original kinks. If you saw Richard's last video, you would know that. But finally, really one important update that I want to clarify on, if you haven't heard already in Richard's last update, is that there's no more concept of freemium PLS. And that's actually a good thing for everybody. I'll explain why. What does freemium PLS mean? That was going to be the basically free pulse that you got if you held ETH at the time of launch. Because remember, PLS is to PulseChain as ETH is to Ethereum. But when you fork the network, you can't have an Ethereum on PulseChain because PLS token is the Ethereum token. It's the token that you're going to use to pay for gas on PulseChain, just like ETH is the token that you pay for gas on Ethereum. So when they convert at a 1-to-1 ratio, your Ethereum is actually transforming into PLS. Okay, if you didn't know that, now you do. But there was previously talked about being a time limit on which you had to actually use those PLS and basically use it or lose it, right? So if you didn't use the PLS in a certain time frame, you would lose it. And this would theoretically prevent people from coming aboard that weren't really interested in the project and basically just cause more interest and mania of people rushing in. Now, in software, trade-offs need to be made, and the time it would take to actually implement this freemium model costed a lot more time and effort, basically, than was actually benefiting anybody. So although the initial thought was to have a limited time offer to get more adoption and encourage more people in the system, we've already got so much built-up anxiety and built-up demand for PLS that we don't really need it at the expense of so much extra time being added. And on top of that, one of the initial fears could have been that, big whales in Ethereum could potentially just dump all the free PLS they got on the open market and thus pushing the price down. This is actually not a very big concern. And the reason for that is that the overall supply of the total PLS in existence is 10,000x the Ethereum supply. So everybody that's sacrificed in the sacrifice phase is going to have orders of magnitude more, 10,000x more PLS than the free PLS that people are getting from their 1-to-1 ETH to PLS conversion. So if you're excited about getting this free PLS token from the ETH that you have, yeah, it's going to be great because you're going to be able to transact on the network from day one, but it's probably not going to be worth that much money, If you have 3 Ethereum and then you get 3 PLS, that PLS is probably going to be worth a very, very small amount because it's diluted at a rate of 10,000x by all the people that entered the sacrifice phase, because those people got the lion's share of the allocated PLS that's available. So does that make sense? So basically we're saving a lot of time and energy, and we're retracting that. There's no more freemium, and instead you have as long as you want to use your free PLS, any free PLS that you might have on your MetaMask when PulseChain launches. So you can sit back, relax, and sleep well at night knowing that it doesn't really matter if you get in on day 1 or day 30 or day 3,000. You know, you'll always have those coins just sitting in your wallet ready for you to use them. So don't worry about it, okay? Freemium PLS has no time lock. It has no sense of a limited time offer. There's no more use it or lose it. It's going away, and PulseChain is going to launch faster. So this is actually really, really good. I was kind of refreshed when I heard that, to be honest. Now, finally, guys, let's talk strategy. How do you prepare for PulseChain? How am I going to prepare for PulseChain? And what's the best way to make the most money, right? That's the question that everyone's really asking. And we can talk about strategy, but really everyone just wants to know, how do I make the most money in this whole thing? But that's a nuanced question, right? The question is, what do you want? What are you trying to optimize for? Are you trying to get the most PLS token? Are you trying to get the most HEX? Me personally, I'm trying to get a lot of both because I'm very bullish on both for the next 5, 10, 15 years down the line. I think they're going to make a lot of people really wealthy, but only the true believers. So what do you want out of this thing? Did you sacrifice or not? I sacrificed in days 1 through 5. If you missed the sacrifice, chances are you probably want to get your hands on more PLS. I'd be fine sitting back and relaxing at the beginning because I already got into the sacrifice phase and it buys me more time to sit back and make more calculated moves. But if you're trying to rush in and buy PLS as soon as you can, what I think is going to happen, which typically happens, is there's an overexuberance when any coin launches, and people that got in early that don't have a long-term vision sell the coin, and the coin goes down for a month, 2, maybe 3, but probably not. And if you're one of those people rushing in to buy at the very day 1, and you're not just having a more relaxed attitude, you might end up buying at a high price, and Pulse might take a temporary dip, and you'll have to actually have the strong hands to hold longer than a couple months. I mean, that shouldn't be a big deal for you anyway, because this is a long-term game. And this isn't short-term, speculation, meme coin trading, right? But if you have the strong hands to actually hold and see the bigger picture, I would sit back and wait for a little bit of a dip and see if you get a little bit of a dip in the PLS price in the first couple weeks or months. And obviously, as I teach people over and over, just buy the dip. So what am I saying? There could be a dip when PLS launches. If you don't have PLS already or you want to rush in and get more, be patient. Patience is always good. And you can buy the dip rather than buying on day 1. Now, a ton of people are going to ignore that and they're going to buy on day 1, and that's fine. Maybe Pulse will never dip, right? All I'm saying is that I think there's a chance of a PLS dip, but regardless of if you're buying PLS on day 1 or day 30 or day 60, you're going to want to have the best coin to purchase that PLS with. What is that going to be? Well, in my speculation, again, I don't have a crystal ball, but like I said in earlier videos, I'm speculating that the liquidity pools on PulseChain that are going to be the most liquid from day 1 are the PLS HEX pair and the HEX EHEX pair. And maybe even the PLS EHEX pair, but I don't think that there's going to be an easy and highly liquid stablecoin pair, meaning PLS EUSDC. I don't think that pair is going to have a lot of money in it at the very beginning. And if that is the case, if that condition is true, you're going to want to have HEX to swap for PLS because you'll be able to swap in that most liquid pair. Or you're going to want to have EHEX to swap for PLS if that happens to be a very liquid pair. So I'm just trying to anticipate some of the most liquid pairs that are going to exist on day 1 on PulseChain's version of Uniswap, which is going to look just like what you see in front of you, guys. This is ETHEX.com. This is Uniswap V2 on the back end, and the front end is just a nice front end that autofills HEX for you. Okay, and this is where people buy and sell HEX a lot. Uniswap V3 exists, but it's not available for copying, so PulseChain is going to be forking V2, which actually works very well. Because when you put things in a liquidity pool on Uniswap, you actually have to provide an equal amount of both, right? So if I want to put in 10 Ethereum on here, I'd have to put up that same number of HEX on the other side of the liquidity pool, and thus provide an even ratio of both. So there's no asymmetric liquidity. This actually makes things a little bit easier for creating the optimal conditions to basically make the price of Pulse and HEX go up, right? So I think this is really good because the most liquid pairs are going to be the pairs that everybody wants to go to for that reason. There will be no asymmetric liquidity. And Uniswap V2 is tried and true. It's been battle tested for years and it's been working great, and it still does work great even today if you want to use it to buy HEX. So you can go there. PancakeSwap is another place where it itself is a fork of Uniswap V2. So really, a lot of people in cryptocurrency just fork existing code as long as it's working well, and they make minor improvements. I mean, that's what PulseChain is, right? It's a fork of Ethereum with improvements. So in a roundabout way, the PulseChain swap is going to be a fork of PancakeSwap, which is a fork of Uniswap v2 on Ethereum. So it's a fork of a fork of a fork, right? And it all looks very, very similar. They're just very simple interfaces where you swap one token for another. And alternatively, you can be a liquidity provider and make transaction fees when other people swap using your money. Now, there's also going to be a bridge on day one of PulseChain. This is what a bridge looks like. Look at the screen in front of you. Familiarize yourself with what a bridge is and what that means. And if you want to test out the Binance.org bridge, you can go there. Just Google Binance Bridge and go there, and you can see how to transfer coins from various networks to other networks. Look, you've got all these networks right here, for example, TRX, Solana, Ethereum, and Binance Smart Chain Network. And there's all kinds of ways that you can swap your coins from one network to another. So for example, if I'm coming in from Tron for whatever reason, and I want to transfer to the Ethereum network, I can go ahead and I pick whatever coin I want to pick. Let's say USDT, transfer 10,000. And that's how I would bridge my assets from Tron into Ethereum. And the USDT would then become wrapped USDT on the Ethereum network. This is roughly how it's going to look and how it's going to work when the PulseChain bridge comes out. And we're going to have a couple different bridges, but definitely one will be ready on day one. And this is how you get your assets from the Ethereum world into the PulseChain world. So educate yourself, guys. Go test this stuff out. Send $1 back and forth, if you want, in between Binance Smart Chain and Ethereum. Educate yourself because knowledge is power, and really try to visualize what this is going to look like when PulseChain launches. So if you watched my previous videos, you know that currently what I'm thinking for my PulseChain strategy is, again, I sacrificed, so I'm happy with the PLS I have. There may be a dip buying opportunity to buy more PLS, and the best thing to swap that for would be HEX to PLS, in my opinion, because I've theorized that that will be the most liquid pair. But me personally, guys, I'm mostly just chilling and sitting back and relaxing, and all I'm going to really be doing is providing liquidity to the EHEX HEX pool and possibly to the PLS HEX pool as well. Those are the two pools that I want to provide liquidity on so that I can earn transaction fees and even earn the secondary token associated with that PulseChain swap, similar to the Pancake token on PancakeSwap. And that's all I'm going to do, guys. Provide liquidity and chill. Liquidity and chill. And if I do see a big dip in the PLS price, maybe I'll think about snatching up some more PLS if I see people are selling it off really heavily. If every time I see a dip over 50 or 60%, it starts to look like a really good buy opportunity for me. So that's where I'd personally be interested in scooping up some more PLS if I can. Now, I already explained in a previous video that I want to provide a lot of EHEX HEX liquidity to help make that pair as liquid as possible so that these two coins can reach parity faster. And I won't get into why right now. I've explained that on a different video, but I believe if this is a very highly liquid pair, this is going to be great to hold up the price of HEX. And the reason for that is when you have an ecosystem that has instantaneous and zero transaction fees, right? That totally fixes everything from Ethereum, but at the same time, everything from Ethereum is copied onto PulseChain. People are going to want to get off of Ethereum and go to PulseChain. I mean, we don't even have to talk about HEX. Let's talk about, Chainlink, for example. If fees on Ethereum are so high that it's pricing users out of Chainlink, and there's an identical network where they have all the same Chainlink, they have all the same account balances, and all the same smart contracts are also existing already and copied and ready to go, except this environment has no transaction fees and instantaneous transactions as opposed to Ethereum. Why wouldn't everybody want to come where they're treated best, right? This includes any project. And with a couple of front-end changes, a lot of projects can simply use the same smart contract on PulseChain that they've already built and just switch the network, and then boom, you're transacting and you're operating in a much better environment. So think about it, guys. The smart contracts are the same, the account balances are the same, and Link on PulseChain will still be called Link. Link that exists on Ethereum will still be called Link. And I want to get this nomenclature thing right too. In my opinion, it would be most beneficial for things to only have an abbreviation if they're wrapped on another chain. So there still is only one HEX, but the supply of all the HEX in existence is being doubled, and it's going to exist on both chains. Now, if I'm bridging HEX from PulseChain to Ethereum, then we'll have to denote it with PHEX to indicate that, hey, this HEX came from the PulseChain. If I'm bridging HEX from Ethereum to PulseChain, we'll have to denote it as EHEX because we're indicating, hey, this HEX originated from Ethereum and it's wrapped now on PulseChain. But what's basically happening, which is really, really crazy, if you guys really can get your head around it, is that the supply of every single token is doubling and the smart contracts are being copied one for one, except one environment's going to be better. So I foresee a ton of people bridging their assets. Again, it's like moving to a country where you're treated better, right? They're going to bridge a lot of assets from Ethereum to PulseChain. Hopefully take some load off of Ethereum, and they're going to be playing ball in PulseChain. But I think a lot of people have a misconception, and they have the mental framework that all of a sudden we're going to need to call everything, E whatever and P whatever. And I don't think that's the right way to go. I don't think that's what's actually going to happen in reality. Things are going to keep their same names on each chain, right? Celsius on Ethereum is going to be Celsius on PulseChain. HEX on Ethereum is still HEX. HEX on PulseChain is called HEX, okay? It's just the bridging of one to another, which is going to force the systems to denominate them as EHEX and PHEX. So do you see what I'm trying to say? We're not going to have to just automatically start calling everything P this and E that. Okay, the nomenclature will stay the same, and this will actually be very good because the mental framework that people have around their coins, think of all the coin ranking sites that would then have to update, P and E. I mean, we already have this mental framework for one coin. So there still will be one of each coin in theory, right? There will be one of each smart contract in existence. It's just being cloned, right? Everything is being cloned, which is really, really crazy. But the thing we'll have to see is how quickly projects will be to adopt the new chain, or if they want to adopt at all. Now, I predict what we're going to see is a lot of new projects building on top of PulseChain and a lot of new projects being forked from existing projects. For example, some existing NFT platforms on Ethereum may be forked over to PulseChain because people are going to need to visually see their NFTs on this new chain. But how I predict it's going to play out is that these bold early adopters are going to be first, right? So they're going to be building new stuff and forking existing working stuff onto PulseChain for the first time. But then I think a lot of the original kind of old school DeFi on Ethereum that's currently pricing all their users out due to gas fees that can't get any new adoption because who wants to pay $1,000 to get into Ethereum right now? A lot of these people are going to be slow to react, but I think once they see other people do it, and once they start to see the power of, instantaneous and dirt cheap transactions, I think they're going to want to make a couple of minor front-end improvements on their end and fork over to PulseChain too and get their communities over too. So we're going to start seeing a cascading effect, but the early adopters are really going to win here. So that's all I'm trying to convey, guys. These tokens are functionally the same. All these tokens will function exactly the same because the smart contracts are all being copied. But when that happens, guys, Link is still Link. Hex is still Hex. And it's a matter of which platform are we going to migrate over to. And if we can provide the right liquidity and the right environments for these coins to grow, I think some of these coins, first one being Hex, can actually reach parity. It's like if there's enough oxygen in the room, you can light a fire, right? If there's enough liquidity in the Hex-EHEX pair, they can reach parity faster, right? But if there's no oxygen, no fire. So a lot of projects will probably forget about PulseChain or not be aware of it until way later. And it might be a lot harder for their tokens to reach parity between the chains, okay? That's all I'm trying to say. And again, it's just a prediction. I don't have a crystal ball. Now, guys, thanks for sticking to the end. If you remember, I'm going to tell you a secret about how you can help Hex and PulseChain go viral and literally pump your own bags in less than 5 minutes. It's probably the easiest thing you could possibly do, and it really actually makes a difference. So I really want to stress these points very clearly. So listen up, please. You can actually have an effect on the price of your coins if you do these very simple things. Number 1, smash the like button. I'm not joking, guys. It actually matters. In YouTube's algorithm, it really does matter. Number 2, can you guess it? That's right. Smash the subscribe button. Please subscribe. Like and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy this free content and help Hex go viral. Number 3, turn the notification bell on. That also helps in the YouTube algorithm. You'll just get notified whenever I make a new video. Number 4, leave a comment. Tell me your thoughts. I actually do care if you have something smart to say. I do care about your thoughts, right? So even if you just want to say, hey, emoji or thank you or whatever, leave a comment because it's also good for the algorithm. And finally, guys, share this video. Share all the videos. I've made a lot of videos in the past to answer frequently asked questions. It takes 2 seconds to share on the social media platform of your choice. Twitter, Telegram, whatever social media platform, even Facebook or Instagram, whatever you're into. If you share this content, you can help make this coin go viral. Ideas need people in order to compete and in order to grow, right? Just like, again, a flame needs oxygen. Ideas need people to make this go viral. And again, if even 1% of the population even heard about Hex or heard about PulseChain, think about what that would do to the price of your bags or your future investments. Guys, even if you're not a content creator, you have a lot more power than you think you do, okay? You have a lot of power with your voice, your language and who you know, who you share to. If you have a blog online, or if you even have something unrelated, a passion project, whatever it may be, sharing this content is critical, okay? It's critical to the price of HEX. It's critical to the price of PulseChain. And it takes you less than 2 minutes to do all these things. So please, please, please go out and do this for every video. I'm not going to say this in every video, but think about the power that you have to control your own destiny. If you're a content creator, even better. If you're out there making, promoting, creating, that's great. But sharing, subscribing, liking, that's also very important. You guys are the community. We are all the network, and we all have a responsibility to spread financial freedom to the entire world and make millions of people truly wealthy. So please, please do this. Thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate all of you. Let's get to 10,000 subscribers because I'm this close, and I really do appreciate you guys watching. Again, like, subscribe, notification bell, leave a comment, and share this with your friends, and I'll see you on the next video.